Hello everyone, and this is Battle Phoenix here, and today we're going to be doing a pickup video for the month of March, and, well, all I can say is that March has been pretty damn alright. I mean, nothing much I can really complain about, other than that St. Patrick's Day was a little bit boring, but, you know, it wasn't really, like, bad either, so I'm not going to complain about anything like that. It just really wasn't that all eventful, but it was alright for what it was, just drinking like a couple beers and that's it. That's all that I needed to do from it, and that's all I got, so that's okay. Alright, so to get to the main point, so first things first, we're going to talk about the channels that I added to the list within this month. There's only 3 of them. And the first channel that I'm going to be talking about is a Let's Play channel, and that is Torture Vision. Yeah, like I said, they do a lot of Let's Plays, and they usually do like random assortment of games, like mixed between like newer and older stuff, and all I have to say is that this shit is fucking hilarious. At least I really enjoy it a lot. I think it's really funny. Like I know they did a video on like the Burger King games that was really funny, and then there was also the Mary-Kate and Ashley going horseback riding. Too funny. And there's like a lot of other really like goofy funny ones that they've done, like Captain Novolin. Oh, that game looks so bad. But yeah, so they've done a lot of like really random Let's Plays. I believe they're 2 brothers, if I remember right, and they're just like, you know, making fun of each other or making fun of the game and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I really enjoy that channel, and that's a channel I can definitely recommend to you guys. And then as for the second channel, I'm gonna have a hard time pronouncing this, but so if I pronounce it wrong, at least the title of it will be somewhere around here, and that is Tyson's Spot, or Tyson's Spot. Like I said, just read the title. So, anyways, I do apologize that I did butcher your name, or that I could have possibly butchered your name, but basically, he's a very new channel. I think he started making videos about, like, a month or 2 ago, and so far that he's done a lot of, like, random, like, discussions or collection videos and video responses, and I really like his point of view, and I like his, like, the way how he goes on about things, so yeah, I really do enjoy his channel so far, and because he is very recent, I can definitely recommend people to go check him out real quick, because I think he does make some really good conversation pieces that are very interesting to listen to. And as for the last channel that I'm going to mention, I've known this guy for about maybe 2 months, maybe, and this channel, his name is Southern Star Gamer. Basically, he does a lot of, like, random pickup videos, just, like, you know, kind of like me, where he actually talks about the games, which is, like, you know, the reasons why I look for a pickup video, or someone that does pickup videos, is just so they can actually talk about the games and such. And, of course, he does, like, other various discussions. I know he did a video talking about, like, how to, like, clean off, like, a cartridge if it's, like, full of stickers and stuff like that, which I think is always helpful, because I'm never really good at doing that kind of stuff. But, so yeah, that's really good, and I know he also did a video talking about the light gun on the Master System. That was also pretty nice. So, yeah, definitely another really good channel that I enjoy listening to. And also, he's just a very humble dude, so, you know, can't go wrong with them. So, yeah, those are the 3 channels that I'm mentioning for this month that are added to my list, that are going to be in every single video description. And I know next month sometime, I'm probably going to do a video where I'm going to read off every single channel that's in there. So, of course, there'll be another shout-out kind of video, but like a huge one. So I just figured I'd also mention that. But yeah, definitely I recommended those channels. So we decided to switch places for a little bit because it just wasn't working out in the other room. So we're just going to decide to do the rest of the pickup video right here, right now. So without further ado, let's start with the older stuff first. And this game is an NES game, and it happens to be RC Pro-Am. So as you know, this is a game from the company Rare, who has made some pretty hit-and-miss games back then. I mean, don't get me wrong, they made a lot of great stuff, but I mean, in the NES days, they've made some stuff that were good, and they made some stuff that were not so good. This one is definitely a good one. So, it's a racing game, as you would suspect, and it's in an isometric view, and you're using remote control cars, and you just blow the hell out of each other, which is always fun. And you get to pick up, like, upgrades along on the track, too, which is always nice. And I actually think this game you can use the floor score, I think it is. I think you can use that, or at least it's up to 2 players. I forget exactly, though, but it is a pretty cool feature, though, if it was in there. But either way, though, it's definitely a really fun racing game. I really enjoy it. It's probably one of my more favorite racing games on the system, honestly. I mean, like, Rad Racer is really cool, and then there's also Mock Rider, although that's not really a racing game. It's more like a like a motorcycle game. And then there's that weird one, I forget the name of it there, but I know it's like on here, it says like Iron Man something something, it's something weird like that. But that one's actually pretty good too, I just forget the full title of it. But either way though, this is a really good game, and you can also get it on Rare Replay, which is always cool. So at least you do get some options. Next NES game, and this one is a game I've actually never even heard of until I seen it. And the cover just looked pretty silly, so I just had to pick it up just for that, and it was also cheap enough too. And it happened to be Mendels Palace? I think that's what it's called. Mendels Palace, that's what I think it's called. That's what it looks like it says. I could be totally wrong, because like the writing is like really small. But yeah, just look at that cover. That cover is just funny looking to me, so I was like, you know what, I gotta try it out. And also, it's published by Hudson Soft, so that could be a good thing. And yeah, I actually found this game is actually pretty good from what I played of it. It's actually developed by Game Freak, which is pretty cool because they made the Pokemon games, so that's kind of interesting that they made this before Pokemon. So, this game is a little bit hard to explain, but I'll try to explain it the best that I can. So basically, you pick like whatever like level you want, you know, kind of like Mega Man, and then when you select the level you want, basically, it's like a board, and then on the board you have cards, and you're like a dude being controlled on the board. You flip cards, and when you flip cards, there's like upgrades and points and stuff, you know, all that good stuff. So, and then when you flip cards, there's also a bunch of enemies on the field, and when you flip a card, you have to flip the card with the enemy is standing on, and he'll like bounce off, and you have to bounce him into the wall, and he blows up, and you have to do that with every enemy on the field. It's pretty fun, and I hope I explained that right. I mean, that's what I got from it. But yeah, it's actually a pretty fun game that I don't hear many people talk about, and it was only like $12 too, which is always nice. Oh yeah, and as for RC Pro-Am, that was like $5, so, you know, that was like really, really cheap, and can't go wrong with that either. So this one for $12, not bad at all, and I'm not disappointed whatsoever, because it actually is a pretty good game. Ooh, now as for the Super Nintendo game, this is the only one, but this is a game that I wanted for quite some time, and I've never found it for a decent price until now. And that is Actraiser, which is awesome. You know, I've talked about this game in my, what was it there, the HD remasters that I want. I video sponsored it to Xander. Yeah, definitely, I still stand by that. This game definitely does need a remaster of some sort, because this game just fucking rules. So in case you didn't watch that video, I'll re-explain a little bit what this game's about. It's kind of like a half Castlevania, half like SimCity sort of thing. And it's also kind of like half like a shoot 'em up in a weird way. Yeah, like I said, it's pretty interesting. So of course you start off as you're a god, and you first thing you do is that you possess into a statue, and that's for like the platforming parts that play at Castlevania. And then after you beat a boss, you inhabit the area, so now people can live there. And then at this point, this is where it plays like SimCity, where you have to like build a town, and of course you have to seal like demon gates and such. It's actually pretty awesome. And why I say it plays like a shooter, it's because in the sim parts, like while you're trying to build a town and people are like building their houses, there'll be like monsters that will attack, and they'll like try and pick up like the villagers and like run away with them. So you gotta shoot them down before like they run off the screen. It's actually pretty great, and I love it. Played the hell out of it on an emulator. Also, one thing that was that's funny about this is that a week before I got this game, one of the channels I just talked about recently, Torture Vision, they did a video on this game, so, you know, that's actually really awesome. And they actually did a really good job doing the video on it, so that's always awesome. So, yeah, definitely a really good game. I can highly recommend it, and for $20, definitely a steal. Well, at least for me, because usually I see this game for like $40. So now as for the Sega Genesis, we got two, but this one is in the box. And there's no manual, unfortunately, but, you know, just because I don't have a manual doesn't mean I'm gonna die or something. And this game is Flashback. Now, this is a really interesting game, and yeah, just to show you guys that there's none. Oh yeah, and also it says at the bottom that it's supposed to come with an exclusive comic, which would be interesting, but, you know, whatever. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna die because of it. But, anyways, what this game is that it plays exactly like Out of This World, where, you know, it's kind of like Prince of Persia, like with the way how it moves, and of course, like, you die like really easily and such. It's a lot like that in a way, and of course there's like, You have like an inventory and such, and the graphics is a lot like that. It's actually very impressive to see that on a Genesis. Very good graphics for the time, and I really like that. But yeah, I haven't got far into this game because this game, just like Out of This World, is fucking tough. So it's really hard to figure out, but of course when you do figure stuff out, it's very satisfying. And that's why I like these kinds of games, is that they're hard as hell, but once you figure them out, you feel like you're just on top of the fucking world. Okay, well, then of course, like right after, when you do successfully do one part, then you get stuck at the next. But either way, though, it's all in good fun. But either way, though, I really like this game. This is a really good game, and I think this game doesn't get talked about as much, at least not nearly as much as Prince of Persia or Out of This World. This one kind of seems to be like, you know, no one like talks about it as much, which is weird, I guess, but it's okay, though. I really enjoy these kinds of games, and they're always fun. And this is a game I did not get at the usual place, because all those games that I just talked about, I got them all at one place, and same a couple others that I haven't gotten to yet. And usually the owner has been giving me some really good prices on a lot of them, which I'm very thankful for. I guess you can say we're getting along pretty well, which is always a cool thing, and also I just like supporting local businesses. So the store that I got this game from, Wonder Boy and Monster World, which is an awesome side-scroller slash RPG, because it's a side-scroller with RPG elements, which is very cool. And I just really like the Wonder Boy games. They're always really fun. Even though I do find, like, when you're trying to look up information on the game, it can get a bit confusing, because there are some games that have, like, completely different titles, but are literally, like, the same game, but on, like, different systems. Like, I know one example is Wonder Boy 3 Dragon's Trap is actually, Dragon's Curse on TurboGrafx 16, something like that. There's a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to get too much into it here, but I'll have to talk more about that in my next Strange Origins video whenever I make one of those. But, yeah, definitely a really awesome game. And anyways, about the whole store ordeal was that when I found this game at the other store that I don't go to very often because his prices are just beyond dumb. Like, this was actually one of the few rare times I actually found something good there. The first time I actually found Shenmue 2 on Xbox, which I thought was definitely something, because I guess he wasn't aware of the Shenmue 3 hype that was going around. But anyways, so as for this game, it cost me like $12 for a loose cart, which I think is really good, especially for this game, because usually this game is like $20 loose, which I thought was, you know, definitely a very good deal. So, of course, he, like, as soon as I picked it up, and he's like, I'm like, okay, so how much do you want for it? He's like, oh, I can do $12 on it, and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it. It's like, yeah, you better, because it's actually a rare game, and I'm thinking, like, well, I didn't say this out loud, I was just thinking in my head, thinking, like, what in the wagnalls are you thinking? Like, I mean, I know this game isn't, like, the most common thing ever, but I don't think it's rare, per se. I mean, I've seen it a couple times before, but it's not, like, you know, it's not like a crazy rare game or anything like that, so, I don't know, I just had to laugh at that, but then again, this is the same dude that is trying to sell a loose copy of, what was it? Link to the Past for like $100, and another loose copy of Super Mario Kart on Super Nintendo for $70. Yeah, ain't gonna happen. But yeah, I just had to get this off of him because this was definitely a good steal off that. And of course, it's a very good game, and I really love it a lot. Okay, so now let's continue right along. And this game right here is a PS1 game, and this is actually a PS1 game that is still sealed in the plastic, which is quite surprising. And that is C12 Final Resistance, and yeah, that's how you can tell that it's factory sealed, is when it has like those, you know, those like bright things on here, and then it has like all that. So that's how I know it's actually like a real thing. But either way though, so obviously I'm not going to keep it in there because, you know, that's fucking useless, and I do want to play the game eventually, it's just I just haven't gotten around to it yet because there's just a lot of other stuff I've been doing. But from what I know about this game, it's basically a third-person shooter, and it kind of reminds me of, Siphon Filter, which is kind of interesting. I don't think it's like that. I mean, I could be totally off, but just from what I'm getting at it from these pictures, it kind of reminds me of that, which could be cool, so you never know. But another thing I know is that this was actually a pretty late entry PS1 game. I think it came out in 2001 or 2002. It was either around there. Maybe it might have been 2000, but either way, though, I know it's like, it's one of the late PS1 games that came out, which is always interesting, so yeah, so eventually I will like to play this, I just haven't gotten around to it, and of course, this game was only like $15, like brand new, so you know what, why not? Well, technically brand new, you know, it's still in the plastic, that means, like, no one ever played it, so, you know, I consider that to be brand new in a way. So with that being said, we'll definitely give this one a try, and hopefully it'll be good. And this DS game is another one that was brand new, but I opened it because, you know, I actually wanted to fucking play it, and that was, Spectral Force, Genesis? Yeah, Spectral Force. I actually really like the cover. I think the cover of this game is actually pretty cool looking, but, I only played this game for about an hour, and, well, the game is okay, but I don't know, like, it's really hard to get into. Like, basically, it's an RPG mixed with, like, a real-time strategy game, which is interesting. I mean, the idea of it, it sounds like something I would really get into, but, I gave it a try with an open mind, and I don't know, I mean, it's not a bad game. I mean, I kind of like the way how you have to, move around your, like, when you're getting into battle with someone, you have to, like, drag, like, your troops, like, in a line and such. I mean, I kind of like that, but I don't know, like, the way how, like, the turns progress is really weird, and I don't know, I'm just not feeling it that well, but at least I didn't pay that much for it. I mean, this was also, like, $15 brand new, so, you know, I'm not too disappointed with it, but I guess I could have gotten something better, but oh well, I don't know. I may have to actually get into it more, maybe it might get better later on, but so far I think it's just kind of okay. I mean, I don't know, if this sounds interesting to you and you see it for like a really cheap price, then you can go out and try it if you want, but just so far for me, I'm not digging it too well, but like I said, I only played it for like about an hour or so, you know, and usually real-time strategy games usually take a lot of time to get used to, and, you know, you have to spend a lot of time with it, so that could be one thing, but either way, yeah, I will just leave it as it's okay, I guess. Alright, so let's get into some newer stuff, and this game right here is a PS4 game, and it's a game that I actually just got today, and it actually came out today. I pre-ordered it, so this game just happens to be Knights of Zuri. Zuri, yes, like the color. So this is a an action RPG, but the thing that really got me interested in it, and not just because of the fact that it looks like a badass game, but it's the fact that it was actually made by the same people that made Fatal Frame and the Deception series, and as you know, I'm a huge fan of both of them. I think both of those series are amazing, and I love them both to death, so, you know, with having this game being an action RPG made by the same people that made those two games, I was like, now this is bonerific. Okay, anyways, I had to be ridiculous about it. But yeah, so I was really stoked about this game when I first heard about it, and I was like, okay, yes, I have to get this game. This game just looks awesome. Like, I just really like it. Well, I haven't played it yet, but hopefully it's good. It looks really promising. So, basically, like I said, it's an action RPG, and you're like a chick that has, like, demonic powers, and it seems like you can, like, summon things, like servants and such, and, like, transform, and all that kind of good stuff. So, I unfortunately can't say a lot about it, but from what I have seen about it, it definitely looks fucking kick-ass, and unfortunately not many people are talking about it, at least from what I've seen so far. But so far, I think it looks really good, and hopefully we'll see a review in the future, but yeah, can't wait to try this one out. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, or Digimon Cyber Sleuth, you know. Anyways, you know about Digimon, I'm sure you're willing to know about it anyways, because it's an anime that I actually grew up watching as a kid. And I know a lot of people usually made a lot of comparisons to Pokemon and such, but, you know, I actually found that Digimon was a better anime than Pokemon, I found, because at least Digimon, it was not, like, repeating the same shit over and over again. But that's another discussion for another day. So, as for this game, I was actually playing the shit out of it yesterday, and I have to say, this game is awesome. So, it plays a lot like the Digimon World games, which I believe there's 4 of them, and I remember I rented the 3rd one on PS1 like many years ago and I loved it. I actually have the strategy guide to it still, which I would like to do a video on that sometime, but anyways, so it plays a lot like Digimon World, but it seems to be a lot bigger and better and more stuff to do, at least from what I can remember, because it's been years since I played that one. But yeah, this one does seem like a, you know, like a really good, like, upgrade to the series, which I think is great. But of course this one is different though, because you're actually playing underneath a detective doing, like, solving cases and such, which is pretty cool. In fact, speaking of that, one of the chicks in the game, it's this girl right here, her Her name just happens to be Kyoko, which, as you know, if you're familiar with the series Danganronpa, there's another chick in that game named Kyoko who is also a detective of some sort, so that just made me laugh. You probably got the idea from that, I bet you anything, but yeah, so pretty much in this game, you know, it's an RPG, and you train the Digimon, you can involve in the different things, and fuse, I think you can fuse them together at one point, I'm not sure. And you can also have, like, this other thing where, I think it's called the Digifarm, where pretty much you can raise the Digimon and make them stronger like that, and you can also add, like, newer islands and such, and the island looks a lot like Minecraft, it's pretty funny. But, yeah, the story so far is pretty interesting. I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I always found that Digimon always had a decent story, so, you know, it's something that I actually appreciate. So it was actually very nice playing this one again, and even though I forget a lot of the Digimon's names, because it's something I haven't seen in years, well, definitely a really good game, and if you like RPGs, I can definitely recommend it. And of course, if you like Digimon, this is definitely something that's worth getting into. Now let's get into some Wii U games, and this is the other one that I got on Easter, and this one just happens to be Pokmon Tournament, or Pokken, or whatever you want to call it. Honestly, the name itself is just weird, so, you know, just call it whatever. Call it like Pokemon beating the shit out of each other edition or something. So, anyways, this is the Pokemon fighting game that was, I believe it was made by the same people that made Tekken, if I remember right. It could be them, or maybe it's their own thing, I forget the whole deal with that, but basically it's a fighting game, which is something I was always curious of. I remember as a kid, I was always thinking, like, you know, they should make a Pokemon fighting game. Yeah, we had Super Smash Bros., which you use Pokemon and you fight each other in it, which is cool and all, but I mean, like, a full-flesh, like, actual, like, Pokemon just beating the shit out of each other. That was something I always thought would be really cool, and they finally did it. Definitely took their damn time, but hey, that's okay, at least it happened, right? And the game actually ended up being pretty fun. I have to say, from what I played of it, I think it's really fun. I think a lot of the, like, the way how they did the fighting system is pretty interesting, where it's, you know, it's a big circle and you just run around, you just, like, fight each other like that, kind of like a Tales of game. And then, of course, like, there's phase switching, where, like, pretty much you go, like, head-to-head with each other, where it kind of plays more like 2D, like a 2D fighting game. It's pretty interesting. I actually really like that. And the amount of Pokemon in this game, well, it doesn't have a lot in the game because, you know, there's a shit ton of Pokemon, more than I can remember all of them. But from what from the characters that are in here, though, a lot of them are actually pretty fun. Like, I really like using, like, Chandelure. Chandelure was, like, the one Pokemon that I really liked, so I started off with that one. And, you know, like, there's Charizard, and then there's a Suicune, then there's Blaziken, he's awesome to use, then there's Gengar, and, you know, Pikachu, obviously, and then there's Garchomp, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, that's definitely pretty awesome. I don't know if they're ever going to do DLC, but if they did, I would really want to see is Cypher from Gen 1, and Heracross from Gen 2, or Hitmontop. That'd be really cool as well. Yeah, I'd like to see those three, if it was possible. I don't think they will, but if they did, I would definitely approve of that. So, yeah, another thing that's cool is that it also comes with a card, which I believe I have it in here. Yeah, I did actually take it out and looked at it. It's a Mewtwo card, and I think if you scan it, you can actually play as him, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't actually tried it out yet, but yeah, this game is awesome so far, and I really enjoy it, and it definitely has a lot more content than some other fighting game out there that people are ranting and raving about, but yeah, definitely really good one. It's also very easy to get into, so even if you're not good at fighting games, like, you know, it's just one that's easy to pick up and play. Now this Wii U game, and this was one I was actually surprised I was actually able to get, because the store told me saying, like, yeah, we're only going to get 2, so you can't pre-order it, which I thought was dumb as hell, but then when I went there, they actually had, like, stacks of them, so I was like, yeah, that's definitely 2, alright. So, I'm pretty sure you might take a guess what that is, and that is Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Yeah. So, in case you don't know, Twilight Princess was actually my favorite 3D Zelda game, but my second favorite Zelda game, like, in general, but my first favorite Zelda game would have to be Link to the Past, so, you know, I guess that's kind of a no-brainer, though, but at least that's if you know me. If you don't know me, that's totally fine if you didn't know that. But, yeah, anyways, this is the one Zelda game I really enjoyed. I love, like, the dark setting of it. I love the Twilight thing. I like the fact that Link turns into a wolf. Yeah, it's weird, but I thought it was handled pretty well. And Midna's, like, pretty funny. And, Also, I find Santa's just a crazy motherfucker. It was just really funny, you know, really up my alley, so I like that. And I just really like the art to it. You know, I just really like just about almost everything about the game. Yeah, it has some annoying parts, but then again, what Zelda game doesn't have annoying parts? But anyways, though, I think this is a really good version of it. I think it looks really nice, it runs smooth, and I really like the menu system that they have in it. I think it's very much improved. And I know the Link amiibo, like the Wolf Link amiibo, I haven't opened it out of its case yet, but that's because I just haven't gotten around to it, though. But apparently in the box it says there's actually like a new dungeon or something, where if you tap on it, you can access a new dungeon, which does actually sound pretty cool. I kind of like that. I just haven't got around to trying it. And from what I've played of this, I got all the way to the water temple, or the water place, you know, the dungeon underneath the lake, which isn't, well, it's kind of an annoying one considering I kind of forget what to do at some parts, but it's not nearly as annoying as the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time, though. But that level is still not, like, the worst level ever. It's just annoying. That's all it is to it. But, one thing that does kind of suck is that while this case does look very nice and pretty, it kind of got dinged on the side here. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like it's indented here, which kind of sucks, but at least it's only the side and not, like, the front, because, you know, the front is, like, the coolest looking part of it. But anyways, with that aside, you know, I'm not gonna, like, die because of that, so anyways, with that being said, definitely one of my favorite Zelda games, and it's awesome just playing through it again, and hopefully I'll be able to beat it soon. I mean, I've beaten it twice before, it's just some parts I kind of forget. Alright, so the last set of games are Xbox related, and this Xbox game right here is an original Xbox game, and I found it at a thrift store for like $2, so I couldn't pass it up, and I'm going to be a part of a big series that I really like and I haven't actually played, and that is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Yeah, this is actually the last Mortal Kombat game that from like that gen that I didn't have. Not only that I never don't have it, but I've also never played it. It's because, you know, I have Deception, which is awesome, and then there's Armageddon, which is also awesome because of the amount of characters, and then there's Shaolin Monks, which is pretty good. It has its issues, but, you know, it's not that bad. And then there's this one, which I just never played for some whatever reason. So I finally started to play it somewhat recently, and I was like, you know, this game is not as good as I thought it would be. I mean, I wasn't expecting this game to be, like, the best Mortal Kombat ever, but I was at least expecting it to be at least, like, you know, kind of plays like Deception a little bit, but yeah, it kind of does play like that, but it feels a lot slower, and it also, like the layout to the the button layout for it is just weird. Like, it's not what I'm used to. Like, because I actually played Deception after playing this one. I'm like, okay, this just can't be right. And then I didn't, and I was still kicking ass at that game. Where this game, I was like, what the hell's going on? I don't know. I'm not trying to bag on this one. I mean, I'm sure if I played this game when it came out, it probably would have been like awesome. But I don't know, like I said, it could be the fact that I never played it until now, and it's just one of those games that just feels weird to play when you play, like, a newer one or something. You know, there are some games that are like that. I mean, Dynasty Warriors 2 is like that, where I like the newer games. I like some of the older Dynasty Warrior games, but, you know, 2 is just, it feels weird to go back to it kind of thing. I think that this might be one of those situations where it just feels to go back to. But what else is weird, though, is that I actually didn't mind number 4, which everyone hates, so, I don't know, I'm probably just like, this is probably just an unpopular opinion, but this is probably my least favorite Mortal Kombat game that I've played, not including the one on Game Boy Advance, because that one is a piece of turd. Alright, so we're at the last few things that I'm going to be talking about here, and this one thing is a system, and I'm pretty sure you can take a guess what it is, and that is, I finally got myself an Xbox 360. I know, you're probably thinking, oh damn time, because this system is actually pretty good, and I actually do enjoy it. Yeah, I remember, like, when I played it at, like, a friend's place, or when I borrowed one off of a friend of mine, I did enjoy playing it for what it was, but there really wasn't a whole lot of games that I knew at the time, mainly because most of my friends, like, the games that they played, like, they only played, like, either, you know, like, the Call of Duties and Halos and stuff, and Gears of War, and Fable, which, you know, I'm not too crazy about those. I mean, yeah, the first few Halos were good, and Gears of War I was just never into, and Fable, I liked the first one, but the other two I just didn't really care for. And Call of Duty, well, you know, I like the older ones, but at a certain point they kind of just overkilled it. So, you know, most people I knew were playing games like that, and I didn't really know much else on the 360. I mean, yeah, I was aware that they had, like, Tales of Vesperia, which is a really good game that I need to go get, but my roommate has it, so at least I can play it whenever I want, but I would like to get my own copy eventually. So I was thinking, like, okay, so I buy a system for one game that just doesn't work for me. No matter how good the game is, it's like, either way though. So now I finally have one, and I got some really good games for it, ones that I've been really enjoying, you know, like Lost Odyssey, really good RPG. Then I also finished Nier. I know that's not an exclusive, but I wasn't able to find a PS3 version of it. So I got it on 360, and I've beaten it, and I just love it. Just love it, the hell out of it, especially the music. The music is just kick-ass in that game. And I've also been playing some shoot-'em-ups, like, you know, like Raiden 4 and Ikaya Katana. Yeah, that's a weird name. And then there's Otominus X, which a lot of people say that game is a terrible shoot-'em-up, but I don't really see why it's so terrible. I mean, sure, it's not the greatest one ever, but it's not bad. Considering that I did found it for, like, dirt cheap, and apparently they sell it at Dollarama for some reason. But, you know, for a Dollarama game, that's pretty damn good. So anyways, though, so yeah, there was a lot of games on the system, but I wasn't aware of a lot of them at the time because, you know, I find that, like, you know, like, most people I knew that had them, like, didn't play any of those weird games that I like, and not only that, but the 360, they didn't really, like, you know, make, like, very good advertisements on them, and if they were, then I probably just wasn't aware of them, so, you know, yeah, that was the reason why I never got an Xbox, because I just didn't hear about the good things that I like until, like, way later on. And then there was also the fact that, you know, the original models have, like, the Red Ring of Death, and, you know, they, like, do, like, total meltdown, so that was another thing, like, just from earlier on. So when they made this model, I was like, okay, that's pretty good that they finally fixed that shit. About damn time, because, you know, that shouldn't even be an issue to begin with. With it, I got 2 other 360 games when I got that, and I haven't played any of them yet, but I will get around to it. And this one is Cameo, the Element of Power. Now, have heard of this before, but I didn't really know much about it. But what really got me interested in wanting to get it was I saw my friend Xander do a stream off of it for like a few months back, and I thought it looked pretty interesting. It's basically like an action-adventure game, but you're a chick, and you can, like, transform into different things, like, you know, like, you have, like, different elements, like, you know, like, you can turn into a plant, and then you can turn into, like, a rock dude and such. It's pretty cool. Like, it looks like a really cool game, and it's from the company Rare, and even though I know they're not what they used to be, this one is definitely a pretty good one, or at least it looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure I'll like it. I mean, it looks fun enough to me, so. Also, this game is like $5, so, you know what, that's perfect. So, you know, I can't go wrong there. Even if I didn't like it, I mean, hey, it's only $5, but still. Either way, can't wait to get into this one, though. This one definitely does look like a pretty fun game. Now, the last game, and as again, it's on the 360, and it's a game that, it was actually recommended to me by 3 people, and those 3 people happen to be, Megas X1, Down Phoenix, and Jason. He has a channel now, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but, anyways, we were all doing a stream together. We were playing Gauntlet on PS4, which is pretty fun. Like, I have to say, that game multiplayer-wise is actually pretty fun, I will admit that. And, so we were just, like, talking, you know, shooting the shit, having a good time, and of course people were asking us questions, like, on the stream, and of course I think someone brought up something about, this game, which is Binary Domain, and, they're all saying their opinions on it, saying, like, yeah, it's a really good game, it's a really underrated Sega game that, you know, that they don't really talk about much. And I'm here thinking, like, I've heard of it, but I've never played it. And they were like, oh, dude, I recommend you check it out. Like, it's definitely a really fun third-person shooter. So I was like, okay, I'll try and look for it if I can, and I did. So, yeah, here it is. And I haven't played it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it, though, because like I said, 3 people recommended it to me, and I definitely do trust those guys, so, you know, everything is all good here. But, yeah, definitely does look like a really fun one. Definitely looks really cool, and, well, I have a feeling that Sega probably, like, didn't really do anything with it. I don't know if they published it or they made it, but, you know, I just know that they have something to do with it, and I have a feeling they probably won't make another one unless it's Sonic related or whatever. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but either way, though, this game definitely does look pretty fun enough, and I definitely can't wait to try it out. And that is all she wrote, and that is all for the pickups that I got, and I have to say, of course, I'm always very, very happy about that, and, you know, a really good month. I have nothing I can really complain about. So that's all well and good, and as for next month, well, as you know, that will be when the anime feature will be up. It'll be getting on April 1st, and no, that is not a joke. That actually will start on April 1st. I don't know if I'm gonna do a like a funny like video on that day as well. I might, but I don't know. I'm not clever enough to come up with anything like awesome and funny and shit. So I don't know. Maybe we might see one. Maybe not. Oh, whatever. Well, whatever. Either way, the anime feature will start then, and if you're not interested in the anime feature, that's totally understandable. And of course, you know, I'm gonna put out other content at the same time because I got a lot of reviews done already, which is quite surprising. So of course I got some of that, and I recorded another video that is something that is gonna be pretty funny. At least I found it to be pretty funny. So that will be uploaded next. And of course, as usual, guys, just keep on gaming, and thank you for watching and commenting.